Remember the dinosaurs? Well, you may have seen a few on the way to work this morning. Birds, yes, even pigeons, are the only surviving members of a group of feathered dinosaurs and are close cousins to the modern crocodiles. However, modern birds don't exactly resemble their reptilian relatives.
Birds are very different from their cousins and from their ancestors, the what we call non-avian dinosaurs, because those have snouts, they have fairly small flat brains and skulls. Modern birds, in contrast, they have toothless beaks and they have these very large domed skulls protecting a very large brain.
This is Arkat Abshinov, reader of Evolutionary and Developmental Genetics at Imperial College London.
We were trying to understand how birds originated because birds are very different from their relatives and how the brains and skulls co-evolved in the lineage which led to the modern birds.
Arkat and his team were especially interested in skull structure. They looked at skull shapes of a wide range of reptiles, including dinosaur fossils, as well as skulls of embryos and juveniles of modern species.
We use software to track changes in the three-dimensional shapes of skulls to understand how the avian skulls evolved from the reptilian ancestors. We produce computer tomography scans.
So, this is what would be known as a CT scan?
Yes, the kind that they're doing on patients in hospitals. Very high definition, three-dimensional scans of skulls. So we can look at, in detail, look at the shapes of individual cranial bones.
The results showed that birds have a key difference from their relatives. In most young vertebrates, certain parts of the skull correspond to specific regions of the brain. As it matures, it loses this association, and the shape of the brain does not mirror the structure of the skull. But in modern birds, this association continues into adulthood, essentially meaning that birds retain a childlike brain and skull.
Modern birds are a product of an evolutionary phenomenon called pedomorphism. Pedomorphism is when an adult retains features that are usually only seen at the young stages of embryo or baby in its ancestors.
So, are there advantages to being a baby-faced dinosaur in a Jurassic world?
The eye sockets in birds are large, larger than in dinosaurs or crocodilians, allowing for larger eyes, and the midbrain is much bigger as well, and it is an important center for tracking movement during flight. The larger eyes in the brain, especially the midbrain portion, allowed birds to develop better visual senses and processing of visual information. These features are evident even in the earliest birds, such as Archaeopteryx, evolving alongside the last dinosaurs, and this might have helped them to survive the extinction that wiped out their relatives.
So maybe being a bird brain is not such a bad idea. Better eyesight and brain power meant they could outcompete their more adult-looking relatives, and birds are clearly still doing well today.
Birds are incredibly successful organisms, and they have diversified into thousands of ecologically distinct species all over the world, across all continents and oceans. We think their pedomorphism contributed to this success, but only by knowing the underlying developmental processes we can determine how their unique adaptations actually evolved.